Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this program. I'm Shri Ganesh Prabhu, Professor of Physics from Condensed Matter Physics, and I'm the Secretary of the TAA. Professor Jairam Chengalur, Director, TIFR. Dr. Firoza Godrej, Chairperson Emeritus, National Society of Friends of the Trees. Dr. A.D. Sawant, former Pro Vice Chancellor, University of Mumbai, and President of the National Society of Friends of the Trees, and all gathered here. A warm welcome to all of you from TIFR Alumni Association, TIFR Endowment Fund, and of course, TIFR itself. So we are honored to have you here on this special occasion where we will formally release the Book of Trees of the Tata Institute of Fundamental Research. And this book has been made possible by voluntary contribution from all our alumni members and the National Society for the Friends of the Trees. So we really appreciate all this help. So before we begin today's program, we welcome our director and Dr. Firoza Godrej with this happening. So first, let me welcome our director, Professor Jairam Chengalur. Now I request our President of TIFR Alumni Association to welcome our chief guest, Dr. Firoza Godrej. Thank you. Now I request our director, Professor Jairam Chengalur, to say a few words.
Thank you, Prabhu, and welcome everybody to this launch of this book, Trees of TIFR. I'd particularly like to thank Dr. Godrej for making the time to be here with us, and also Professor Sawant. Thank you for coming. And, you know, I'm really glad to see this book come out on the trees of the Colaba campus of TIFR. And as probably all of you have heard, at least, you know, that for Dr. Homi Bhabha, it was very, very important to create an ambience which was sort of conducive for creative work. And certainly the design of this building, the art that this building contains, and also the gardens were all part of this ambience that was very important for him to sort of build up when he was creating an institute of excellence in Bombay. At that time, the architect of this building, Helmut Bartsch, had also sort of provided some preliminary designs for the garden, but these were actually quite nascent designs, and Dr. Baba himself, along with Mr. S.D. Vardia, who was at that time the superintendent of gardens, played a major role in sort of shaping the gardens as we see them today. And it's not just the layout of the gardens. I mean, Dr. Baba also played a very important role in the selection of the trees. And in classic fashion, he sort of really took a huge amount of effort to make sure that the trees that he felt were important and should be here were indeed obtained and planted on our campus. So there were seedlings and cuttings which were obtained from the Ooty Woodstock Palace of the Maharaja of Baroda. There was the Barringtonia or fish poison tree, which is known to grow well on seashores. That was also sort of brought and planted on the sea-facing side of the gardens. There's a very interesting story about a cactus plant which was gifted to Dr. Baba by Emilio Portes Gil, the former president of Mexico. That also was planted on our campus. And very interestingly, some years later, when Mr. Portes Gil became the ambassador of Mexico to India, he requested for a cutting of the same cactus, which was then given to them for planting at the embassy at the Mexican embassy in New Delhi. There's also been movement of trees between the city of Bombay and our campus. The Barringtonia trees, several of them were presented to the city of Bombay, now Mumbai, of course, for planting along Marine Drive. And similarly, at a time when there were road widening and other activities were sort of threatening trees in the city, boab trees from the Nepean Sea Road as well. I'm sorry, it was plumeria trees from the Nepean Sea Road and boab trees from Churchgate were transplanted and brought to our campus. And actually all of them have done well on our campus. So this sort of, set the tone for the TIFR gardens, and subsequent people who've been looking after the gardens have also sort of labored over it. And there are very rich varieties of trees that you see on our campus today, well over 100 different varieties of trees. And so given this rich heritage, I'm really delighted that we now have something which sort of documents all of this very beautiful book, which has been produced by Mr. Gumaste. It has really been a labor of love for Mr. Gumaste. I know he has worked for years to make this happen. He's had the photography section go along with him to photograph the trees in their different seasons so that you see all the different phases of the trees as what they look like at different times of the year. As we heard, the publication of the book itself has been made possible thanks to a very generous grant from the Friends of Trees. So I'd really like to thank Dr. Firoza Godrej and Professor Sawant very much for making that possible. So thank you all again, and welcome once more to TIFR and to this book launch.
Thank you, Professor Jairam Chingulur. Now I request Professor Vaya, Professor Jairam Chingulur, our director, to accompany Firoza Madam on the stage. Thank you, Professor Jairam Chengulur. Thank you, Professor Vaya. Dr. Firoza Godrej is keenly interested in art and is the curator of the Simroza Art Gallery in Mumbai. A member of the Godrej family, she takes an avid interest in nature and preservation of our natural resources. The Friends of Trees, of which she is the President Emeritus, have a mandate for inculcating love for trees and plants among the laypersons and organizes various events like public lectures, tree plantation drives, etc. And they have extended their support to producing this coffee table book, and we are really grateful for that. So now I request Dr. Godrej to say a few words.
Thank you so much. And thank you for that extremely, extremely warm welcome that you have given me. We gardeners of the earth don't really expect that. We are just there to hold hands with everyone, including what we all believe in is our natural environment and the trees. Nevertheless, I think this book that is going to be released today is going to be done, ought to be done, and will be done jointly. So Professor Jayant Changulkar in the TIFR Alumni Association, those who are connected with the book function, I see a lot of friends of trees over here. So there's a great synergy between TIFR and the Friends of Trees. So I'm really delighted to be here. Professor Mayank Vaya, President, Professor Sri Nagesh Prabhu, Secretary, Mr. Rajendra Gumaste, Parks and Garden Supervisor, all the functionaries of the organization and colleagues who are present today, protecting and conserving nature. Ladies and gentlemen, I cannot say fellow scientists, but fellow travelers on this journey of our life. Thank you all very much. We are in an era of urban development and technological progress, and that often eclipses the beauty of nature. Mr. Rajendra Gumaste's trees of the Tata Institute of Fundamental Research, of which we heard landmark trees that have been planted here, transplanted here, is not easy to transplant. I remember this large tree that was obstructing the widening of a road where Mr. Jamshed Baba and probably Mr. Homi Baba used to pass by every day. And when we read the history of how this tree was transplanted here, it was done in the dead of night because they didn't want to disrupt the traffic. And large pit was already dug here of 20 feet by 20 feet. Some of our roads in Bombay are not 20 feet wide anymore. 20 feet by 20 feet. And then it was brought with a crane from Nepean Sea Road and transplanted here. It was a very expensive process. And when I made inquiries, in those days, it cost about 2 lakhs of rupees to transplant a tree. Many people argue, you spend so much on transplanting a tree, why don't you do the same thing for humanity? Of course, we do the same thing for humanity. But humanity should also know that the trees and the forests, without them, we cannot exist. Without them, we do not get our water sources, and so on and so forth. And these are things that children have to be taught at a very young age. And this was, I think, in the late 1960s, 70s, when I was still in school. And my mother and parents explained this to me, how these trees are transplanted. And today the YouTube is full of them, how they transplant. We see videos of how trees are transplanted in equally small island country like Singapore, but how much care they take to transplant their trees when they are widening their roads. So trees do play a role of even enhancing our environment and in turn enhancing our well-being. So I think this book is not merely a guide. It invites readers to rediscover the grace and the serenity that trees contribute to our life. Here at this magnificent institution, and I have been here several times with God's grace, whether it is to see your art collection or to attend a concert by Maestro Zubin Mehta. Many, many times we've been here. And yes, it is a very sensitive area for people to come into, and we should be, I always tell people, please be patient when you're entering, because think of it as a privilege. So if you have to wait at the gate till you get your ticket, till your car number is verified, please say that you're not a foreign national, etc., etc. We have to take these precautions more so today than in the past. So TIFR stands for scientific excellence. We all know that. And we all know who visited, who have the good fortune like I have, that it is really a sanctuary of natural beauty. There's nothing as peaceful for knowledge to be generated here, knowledge to be created here, whether if you're down in the basement where radiology is or whatever departments you have that have to be down there, or you're sitting on the fourth floor. It's just conducive to study and to research. And it's at the tip of the island and established by a visionary, Dr. Homi J. Bhabha. And it has really grown to become one of the nation's premier research institutions, if not the most premier. And nestled within it are our friends, the trees, that have stood witness to the evolution of this prestigious institution. These trees, with their silent strength and enduring presence, offer a unique perspective on the history and environment of TIFR. This book, aptly titled Trees of TIFR, is a tribute to these magnificent sentinels. They watch over us day and night. No money, no fees, nothing, no costs. They're just there. All we have to do is to take very good care of them. It aims to document and celebrate the diverse arboreal species that grace TIFR campus. Each tree has a story to tell, if only they could speak, from the ancient ones that provide shade and solace to the vibrant flowering species that add color and life to the surroundings. As you turn the pages of this book, you will really embark on a journey through the green landscape of TIFR. You will discover the rich biodiversity that thrives here, learn about the ecological and economic significance of these trees, and of course, appreciate the meticulous care taken to preserve them. There must be an army. I don't want to call them Malis. They're more than Malis. I think they're really horticulturists. And in English, you would say gardeners, but they're really horticulturists and scientists in their own right. So with this deep knowledge and enthusiasm for botany, Mr. Gumaste has thoughtfully compiled visually striking trees that also positively impact our ecosystems. Each tree selected for this book showcases unique aesthetic traits, from the brilliant colors of autumn as it comes. Right now we're in full bloom summer, to the delicate blooms of spring, which we just passed, highlighting various characteristics like size, shape, leaves, flowers, and the scent. Through vivid descriptions and exquisite illustrations, and thank you for the designer for putting this book together, readers are immersed in a realm where nature's beauty is fully appreciated. His expertise is evident on every page, making complex botanical ideas easy to all readers, whether they are experienced horticulturists or just casual lovers or students of nature. This book is not a catalogue of trees. It is a testament to the harmonious coexistence of nature and science. The trees of TIFR have indeed witnessed many significant moments in the history of Indian science. From the early days of pioneering research in nuclear physics to the recent advancements in various scientific fields, these trees have been silent observers of the Institute's journey. They have provided a serene background, as I said, for countless discussions, discoveries, and innovations. I certainly hope that this book will inspire you to look at trees as you walk around your campus with renewed curiosity and a great deal of respect. May it deepen your appreciation for the natural world and encourage you to contribute to its preservation. The trees of TIFR are more than just a part of its campus. They are really an important part of the TIFR legacy. And this book, correct me if I'm wrong, is rightly dedicated to Dr. Homi J. Bhabha and the man who really helped him make his dream come true, the late Mr. J.R.D. Tata, and the gardeners over the last decades and horticulturists of TIFR, because their influence continues through this publication. I would like to take this opportunity to thank everyone involved in the event for their time and effort. There are so many people. If I start thanking it, it'll be row after row, but you can just give me a wave as I leave. And lastly, I extend my heartfelt congratulations to Mr. Gumaste for this outstanding publication. Thank you very, very much for having me here today.
Thank you, madam, for such a very nice talk. And now I request our president, Professor Vaya, to give his address.
According to the program, I was supposed to speak for 30 seconds, but I'm going to shamelessly take more time because there's something beautiful and unique about this institute and gardens that we have. As Dr. Firoza said, Bhabha was a Renaissance man. Apart from being nominated for Nobel Prize for his work on what is called Bhabha scattering, he had two additional loves. One was painting and the other one was plants. And you can see this beautiful example of paintings. We have the country's largest collection of modern Indian art. We have bought Hussein for 120 rupees when Hussein was not known to anybody else, and so on and so forth. And I could go on for a long time. But about trees, there is a phenomenal set of stories to be told. There is a Mexican cactus which was presented to Bhabha by the president of Mexico. Bhabha brought it here, nurtured it. It's right, and as you get out of the building, you can see it. And we have taken such a good care of it that, as Dr. Chenglur said, when Mexico's embassy was opened in Delhi, they took a sapling from here to replant it there, and I'm told it's doing well. So there are stories and stories. The plants, the trees that once lined Marine Drive were all selected and donated by Bhabha from TIFR. A new set of trees have just recently been sent again to light up the entire coastal road, which have come from TIFR selections, TIFR saplings, and TIFR's collection. There are other stories one can tell by dozens, but there's only one story I will say before I shut up. There is as you go out of TIFR, there are two trees right towards the gate. The one that is towards the gate was actually planted because it was supposed to be there to the part of the aesthetic design of the garden. The second tree was not to be planted. It was not supposed to be there. But the sapling remained and people forgot to remove it when the plants were started. And by the time the building was ready, the tree was too big to be destroyed. So that is how it remained. But that is not the most interesting story. In 1987, Mumbai had a cyclonic condition, and the tree used to be about 5 meters taller than what it is. And the top part was chopped off by the cyclonic winds. And therefore, the tree seemed to have decided that there is no sense in growing further in environment. So it put one of its roots down, broke it, and created a separate tree. You can actually see a real tree cloning itself in real time in the gardens of TIFR. And this is one of the most beautiful structures to see. It's entirely natural, not done by us, not prompted by any human beings. The tree, after facing a cyclone, has simply cloned itself because that's a better way of surviving. And you can see it right in the gardens. The second story, of course, is that the Homeova Auditorium is a 1,000-seater auditorium. And the sea coast was right where the garden is. And the salt water would come on the lawns here. And the trees that you see that were planted there and the trees that lived there where the auditorium is, we didn't want to destroy them. So all of them were picked up and replanted by redoing the land near the coast. So just opposite the auditorium, there is a large cluster of about 8 or 10 trees. All those trees were once where the auditorium is. And they all survived, and we are very proud of it. And the third personal story, of course, is in 79 when I joined TIFR. To catch a bus, I tried to go across the lawn. And I was completely drenched in water by the gardeners. You are not allowed to enter the lawn, whatever the condition. And that's a tradition we still continue. You are not allowed to enter the front lawn over here. Only once in 4 years, we make an exception. When the School of Mathematics has a big international school, they are the only ones who are allowed to have a tea party in the garden. But otherwise, we don't allow even to walk through, let alone get down. And like I said, when the sapling was taken by Mexican consulate, they gave us 4 more different kinds of cacti. So on the island here, you can see 4 different kinds of cacti. They're all Mexican origin, and they've all grown well. So there are stories and stories one can tell about Bhabha and his love for the trees. In the last 75 years, the statistics has it that we have lost 7 or 8 trees to natural calamities. Lightning was one. Just cyclonic conditions was another. But otherwise, all of them, hundreds of varieties have still survived, which talks about our love for Homi Bhabha and the tradition he has left behind. So it's with great pleasure that we release this book on this White Day. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Vaya, for such a nice anecdotes, and he's full of those, and it's a really great pleasure listening to him more. Now we come to the most important part of this, that I now request our author, Mr. Gumaste, Professor of Botany, Ruparel College, Mr. Dr. Sham Palkar, and Neil Daptardar. So, author, who please come on the dais. We are going to now publish this book. And Neil Laptara, who is the chief designer, is such a young, talented boy. So, please come. Now, I request, see, this is a very good idea, again from Mr. Gumaste, that this entire book is now wrapped in a leaf. And that is how we are going to, everything related to tree and great. So, please. Thank you. It's such a original idea. So now I request all the dignitaries to occupy the seats front row. And now I request Mr. Gumaste to say a few words. So how he conceived this book, how these ideas came.
I will start with one quoting. वृक्षो रक्षति रक्षिताः. आप पेड़ को पहले 5 साल संभालो, पेड़ आपको हमेशा के लिए संभालेगा. You protect the tree for its 5 years, the tree will protect you forever. Respected Director of TIFR, Professor Ajayram Chenglur, Dr. Firera Godrej, Professor Vaya, Professor Prabhu, respected members of TIFR Alumni Association, esteemed faculty members, friends, colleagues, and students. Good afternoon to one and all. I welcome you all here for this book release event. It is truly a privilege to stand before you on this special occasion as we gather to celebrate not just a book, but our deep and enduring connection with nature, especially with the magnificent trees that grace our TFR campus. Our campus is not just a classroom collection of buildings, it is a vibrant living ecosystem. Trees here offer us far more than just shade and fresh air. They create a serene and maturing environment, encouraging reflection, learning, and growth. From the ancient banyan trees that have silently witnessed generations here to the young plant we plant today, every tree has a story to tell, as ma'am says. Trees teach us invaluable life lessons, patience, toughness, and the importance of community. Their roots spread wide and deep, reminding us to be grounded. Their branches reach out, reminding us to aim high. But beyond their beauty, trees play a vital role in combating climate changes, preservation of biodiversity, and maintaining the balance of nature. Even back in the 50s, well before environmental concern became part of our mainstream discourse, Dr. Homi Bhabha decided and dedicated significant efforts to tree conservation and plantation on this campus. The rich green legacy we enjoy today is a living testimony to his foresight and love for nature. This book is a humble tribute to Dr. Homi Bhabha and his visionary spirit. It not only documents the landscape he helped shape, but also invites readers to discover the living legacy that thrives around the TIFR. The idea for this book began with a desire to document Dr. Bhaba's meticulous work and insights about the TIFR campus. I started gathering information about the trees, but soon realized that I needed more in-depth experience and expertise in botany. That's when I reached to Dr. Shyam Palkar from the Ruparel College, Mumbai. His contribution to the detailed descriptions and editing of the text has been invaluable. The book features over 400 photographs, all captured by our talented photographers Jatin Acharya and Vijay Shinde from the Institute's photography section. Not a single image, I want to mention it specially, not a single image has been sourced from Google. Each one of this original and taken from our own lush tree surroundings. The final presentation owes much to the thoughtful and elegant layout of our very gifted young designer Neil Daftardar, whose creative touch has made the book visually engaging and reader-friendly. I would also like to extend my sincere thanks to Dr. Lattu sir, as an experienced botanist, for his generous guidance, suggestions, and corrections throughout the development of this book. The project could not have been executed without the generous support of the TIFR alumni. Special thanks to Mr. Kishore Menon. He is not there today, for helping us navigate the specifics of fundraising and bringing up support beyond the boundaries of his own discipline. I sincerely express my gratitude to the TIFR Endowment Fund for their gracious assistance. Everyone who played a role, big or small, in making this book a reality, I offer my heartfelt thanks. Let this book be more than a record. Let it be a reminder of what we inherit, what we nurture, and what we must protect for ourselves and for the generations to come. If after reading this book, if somebody's steps leads to the trees, then the purpose of this writing has been fulfilled. I will conclude with one shloka. Vrukshah sapta janan panti falyanyapi prayanchanti chayam dadati nityam cha pujyante devavata sada. Meaning, trees protect many generations, offer fruits, give constant shade, and are always worthy of reverence like the divine. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gumaste, for such a nice talk. And now I request Professor Shyam Palkar, Professor of Botany. And so what are his experiences about this book and what prompted him to, please.
The smallest tree begin as the smallest seed, and reminding us that the great start with a humble beginning. Respected chief guest and dear students and friends, good afternoon to all of you. It is with immense joy and gratitude that I stand before you today on occasion of release of book Trees of Tata Institute of Fundamental Research, Mumbai. This moment is not merely the launch of book, it marks the culmination journey filled with reflection, learning, and profound connection with students. As many of you know, I am a particular educator and a student of a nature. So it is my humble duty, whatever the nature gives, that we supposed to respect that nature. Through this book, I have tried to weave together science, emotion, and philosophy, drawing not only from my experience of an educator, but as a humble student of nature. My hope is that this work resonates with the readers, not only for factual richness, but also deeper message it carries. Nature is not just a resources, it's a relationship. So how fitting is that today, being the International Day for Biological Diversity, that is, we celebrate every year 22nd May, that reminds us it's an extraordinary variety life on Earth, from the tiniest microbes to the tallest tree, and vibrant ecosystem to the web of genetic diversity. This year's International Day 22nd May 2025 highlights that harmony with nature and sustainable development. Now, let us take this moment to reflect, to appreciate, and to act for the environment for future generation. I take this opportunity to express my heartfelt gratitude to my parents and family for their unwavering support and belief in me, my students and teachers who continue to inspire me with their curiosity and passion, my publisher for their professionalism, patience, and dedication, and most importantly, the readers, because this book truly belongs to you. Heartfelt thanks to everyone who contributed their time and effort to make this book possible. A special thank for today's organizer and to our respected chief guest for gracing this occasion with your presence and make it truly memorable. Now, let me close this particular reflection. Like trees, our strength lies not in rushing to grow, but putting down the deep root in a patience, resilience, and quiet courage to weather every storm and still rise. Thank you all for being a part of this special day. Now we will see pictorial journey of the book Trees of Tata Fundamental Research Institute, Mumbai.
Thank you, Professor Palkar. And now you are going to have some very nice things. I'm going to request both of them to read one chapter each from the book. So that will give you an idea of what is there in the book. So now I request Mr. Gumaste to read one chapter from this book.
This book contains the scientific name of the tree, and then common name, family, Marathi name also, wherever available, and the location in the TIFR colony and TIFR campus. And the map is also there in the book, where you can see the tree. And then native of the book. I will now start writing. Dr. Bhabha introduced many exotic varieties of trees in TIFR. One of the most unique among these is Melaleuca leucodendron. This is a large tree that grows up to 70 feet in height with long drooping branches and a flexible trunk. The most amazing feature of the tree is its creamy white papery bark, which is very soft and can be easily deformed by pressing with one's finger. The outer layer of the trunk bark is shed periodically. Its leaves are arranged alternately, often curved with a fragrant aroma that resembles the eucalyptus plant. The flowers are creamy white, rich in nectar, arranged in spikes similar to the bottle brush at the tip of the branches. The fruits are woody capsules. Despite the softness of the outer layer, the inner trunk is strong enough to support the tree's huge canopy. In TIFR, the tree flowers in March and has a strong smell. Interesting fact of this tree, the name Kajuput tree is derived from the Malay word Kayuputi, meaning white tree. The tree is also grown for ornamentation in parks and gardens. Oil extracted from fresh twigs smells like camphor and thank you. That's it.
Thank you. Now I request Dr. Palkar to say one more chapter. Thank you.
I'll be reading the very interesting tree today. Is Adansonia digitata, belongs to family Bombaceae. Marathi name is Gorak Chincha. Hindi name is Gorak Imli. English name is Baobab tree. Native African mainland, Madagascar and Australia. Location will find this tree in TIFR campus near Panini and Bhaskara building, TIFR housing colony. This tree is an unusual barrel-like broad trunk and is known for its longevity. It has a few thin branches resembling roots, giving it appearance upside down tree. Baobab thrive well in a dry, hot savannas of sub-Saharan Africa. The tree show prominent lenticel on the trunk. Tree loses their entire foliage by March and April. New leaves start emerging from May. Leaves are palmately compound with a 5 to 7 leaflet at the end of branches. Flowering start in mid-May. Baobab flowers born on short erect branch in the exiles of leaves. The flowers are large, pretty and white with a musky odor and 5 axipetals. The flowers open only during the night and are pollinated by bats. Fruits are large and god-like. I got a small one because it's a flowering. Fruits are large and god-like with a velvety skin hanging on a long stalk. They are rich in vitamin C and potassium. There are 4 big trees in TIFR housing colony transplanted from Mumbai city in 1972. Propagation by seeds. Interesting fact, these trees live for centuries. Some trees are known to be more than 2000 years old. The Adansonia refers to French botanist Michael Adanson, who wrote the first book on this tree. Digitata refers to digits of hand, as compound leaf of this tree has a 5 leaflets. Monkey and baboons feed extensively on this fruit, hence it is also called monkey bread tree. The trunk of tree holds a large amount of water, which is used by bushmen in Africa during drought. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Palkar. Now the session is open for, we can take few questions from the audience if they have, and Professor Palkar and Mr. Gumaste will be more than happy to answer. So if there are any questions from the audience, please raise your hand. Okay, director has.
But just tell us how long it took for you to collect all of this material to make this book, and a little something about the process.
Actually, this idea struck me in March 22, and it took more than 2 years to complete the photography itself, because when we go, we get a very nice flower, but next day there is a bunch of flower. One day we got a very nice and washed with rain leaves. Second day, actually they changes their color. So we actually visited every tree at least for 20 to 20 times with my photographer Vijay and Jatin, and they took a very nice pen for that. And this way we actually gathered photographs, and then Dr. Palkar helped me in scientifically superfine everything. And this way, actually, we started gathering the information, and then it came in the book form. Thank you.
Would you like to add anything?
Can you tell us what is this leaf in which you wrapped the book? It's a
Hello.
this. Yes, everybody wants to know what this giant leaf.
Just 1 second. I will tell you. Acerifolium. It's a dinner plate tree. I want to show the flower actually. Sir, good luck there. Sir?
The name of this particular, yes,
And in Marathi, it is called as a Kanak Champa. Hindi also in Kanak Champa, and it is a bio tree in English. And this is also called as a dinner plate tree, because the leaves they are used for that. Kanak Champa Muchkund. Yeah. Yeah. Every tree, Parashara and Brahma, yeah. Yes. Because these all actually leaves are shaded. We have not actually picked those, so you don't use that. Thank you. Okay.
You would like to add it?
Yes. I have two questions. One is scientifically that the location of the TIFR in the garden. I'm really surprised such a good flowers, weathering place. Is there no impact of the saline wind on the flowering of these trees here? Because you get a lot of salty breeze, saline breeze, I could say. There's a lot of salinity in the air. Does it impact?
Yeah, actually, flowering starts in April, May, most of the trees. So that time there is no salty winds. Salty wind starts in the monsoon when the actually flowering is over. But it does scorch the trees. So we, some scorching is there. So we actually do protection by erecting the jalis over there. Shade net we protect and we actually reduce the velocity of the wind, and then it also reduces the salinity of the wind.
Other question that I could see one slide of Maduka indica, which is normally not seen in Mumbai. I could see a very good tree and those fruits are also there. It's surviving, is growing very well here.
It's very well growing.
Oh.
It's around 20 feet here. Acha, second thing actually, which give impacts on the flowering season is because of the groundwater which is available just up to 5 to 6 feet deep. So in jungles, when palash starts flowering, our palash doesn't flower. Even our palash doesn't flower also, even 1 or 2, because there is always water available deep under the soil. That is the only impact we have. Thank you.
Dr. Kulkarni?
A small curiosity I have, that many of these trees are not indigenous to our country. So, according to you, what is the effect of Mumbai climate as compared to their native climate? Are there drastic changes you observed anywhere, or you have any idea about that?
Can you just elaborate the idea, what you want to say? Okay, now we can say that whatever the trees has been came in India, now they are of ourselves only. So now they have also started adapting and they are surviving in a better way. So as a personally, as a botany teacher, I don't say that it is a it is the foreign country tree, it is of that country tree, it is not of a native of India. All trees are of ours only and we are of theirs. And adaptation.
No, I don't mean that. These are our own. That's no doubt about that. But what I mean is that if one particular tree may be flowered in 1 year in its native place, does it make any impact because of changed environment on this flowering duration or performance or morphology in a new environment?
Yes.
Also,
Salinity.
the new size surface.
Leaf size and venation will take a lot of years to change, actually. And what adaptations of Surangi plant, I can say.
Environment, yeah. There are small changes actually. Flowering time, flowering season is actually changed. See, if we see cassia fistula flowering, now most of the cassia fistula is over and our cassia fistula started just now, 5 or 6 days back. One thing is there, which is not indigenous trees. Actually, they give us pain, they collapse every day. Our gulmors, pathodias, which are not native, and they are adapted, but actually their root zone is not that strong. And because of our huge area and then the windy area, they always collapse. And for 2 days back, a huge gulmor actually collapsed. We actually reinstall them again and we save them. This time, we are doing one thing new. We are replacing these foreign species, which are actually giving some trouble or they are not suitable, with karanj, with kadunim, with bakul, like that, which are very strong, and some are indigenous.
One program adaptation. The other day I asked the you see how tree very well growing, but not fruiting.
Not fruiting. Even my Bellerica is also not fruiting. Only Terminilla Katapa is fruiting very well, but Bellerica is not fruiting. Even my Kokum is not fruiting.
Okay, this last question.
No, it's not a question, just information, because earlier I experimented on one wild Penicetum species. Whenever I was collaborating with my research collaborator
Okay,
in
last
Delhi,
question.
I always had to get some materials at his end because it flowered in Delhi but never flowered in Mumbai. So such information can be useful for taking such missions ahead.
For a TIFR campus, I can say my observation when we have a very interesting tree Surangi that we get in the middle part of a March, and that works that we get in Mumbai for a 1 week. But now if you see in month of April, 20th April till 10th May, it is in the flowering. This is an observation I got. Okay.
Okay, thank you. I think because of the time, we cannot take, cannot take many more questions, but both of them are available here. So I first thank all of you for coming here in such an overwhelming majority. Thanks for all your love that you have shown for these trees. And I request all of you to join us for high tea. And after that, our director and respected Godrej madam, they will be planting sapling there. And I ensure that all our TIFR gardeners will ensure that they bloom in the coming years. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, all of you. Thanks. Please join us for high tea the outside West Canteen, please.